Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Group Captain Tim Farrell. We warmly welcome the family of Sapper David Hilton, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Return and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Club Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Thank you. If you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Sapper David Hilton. David Hilton was born in August 1878 in Dundee, Scotland. Known as Davy, he was one of 3 children born to David and Catherine Hilton. Davy found work as a plumber until 1913, when he emigrated from the United Kingdom to Australia at the age of 34. He settled in Melbourne and began working as a plumber for the Metropolitan Gas Company. He also joined the Collingwood Rifle Club. David fell in love with Eva Christina Gillespie, an immigrant from Ireland who had arrived in Australia in 1912. The two married in 1915 and moved into a Victoria-style workers' cottage in Northcote. Their only son, David Craig Hilton, was born on Christmas Day, 1915. Davy enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 25th of February, 1916, aged 37. During his medical examination, the officer noted that he was missing the top joint of the second finger on his right hand. This did not cause any issue with his eligibility for service, and his enlistment was accepted. Davy was assigned to the engineer reinforcements with the rank of Sapper and started training at Seymour. After more than 6 months of training, Sapper David Hilton left Sydney on the troopship Ceramic on the 7th of October, 1916. He arrived in Plymouth, England on the 2nd of November and began further training in the Australian camp at Wiltshire. On the 22nd of November, he marched in the No. 3 Camp Parkhouse, where he would spend the winter. Davy proceeded overseas from France, from Folkestone, on the 18th of March 1917, over a year after his enlistment. He spent 2 weeks at the Australian General Base Depot at Itapla before being assigned to the 5th Division Engineers on the 7th of April 1917. 4 days later, Davy was taken on strength to the 15th Field Company Engineers in the field around Belancourt, France. Field engineers took a variety of support tasks, including the preparation and supervision of the construction of defensive and gun positions, the excavation of trenches and dugouts, the preparation of command posts, road and bridge construction, and route maintenance, signalling and managing water supply. The 15th Field Company remained in the Somme Valley in France throughout the spring and into the summer, undertaking a variety of engineer work and training drills. At the end of June, Davy was sent on a week-long course at gas school, where he learned how to correctly use masks and other equipment in response to gas attacks, as well as how to attack with gas. He returned to his company, now based at Lament, on the 28th of June. By mid-September, the 15th Field Company had moved to Belgium, where the Australians were preparing for the first major involvement in the Third Battle of Ypres. The company moved to the front line on the 25th of September, ahead of the planned attack. The infantry attack began on the 26th, supported by overwhelming artillery fire. Members of the company were on the front line with the infantry and were subjected to a heavy enemy barrage from the beginning of the battle at 5:50 a.m. During the fighting on the 26th of September 1917, Sapper David Hilton was killed in action. He was 39 years old. His body was never recovered from the battlefield. A note in his service record from October 1922 stated although extensive searches and investigations have been made with the object of locating the grave of Sapper David Hilton, it has not been possible either to locate his actual burial place or obtain any information which might indicate his probable, original or present resting place. His name is listed on the Menin Gate Memorial in Ypres alongside more than 6,000 Australians who served in Ypres campaign and have no known grave. Davy's wife and brother submitted multiple commemoration notices to local Victorian newspapers in the wake of his death, in loving memory of their dear husband and daddy and their beloved brother. Several of these notices contain memorable poems, including the following, inserted by Davy's brother on the first anniversary of his death. Although you have fallen, dear Davy, and sleep in a hero's grave, your name will live forever with the bravest of the brave. David Hilton's name is also listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Sapper David Hilton, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We'll remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bain. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub of Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.